Assalamu alaikum. I'm so happy that you're here with us, Mahdi. My name is Azzuddin Hawam, the founder of Sadaa Echoes. Sadaa is a platform where we try to bring stories together to share community, humanity, and food. Stories that echo out of Sada become a platform dedicated to amplifying voices and experiences of individuals and communities impacted by displacement and conflict. In today's episode of Unbounded Story series, I am privileged to be with Brother Mahdi Sultani, who is a long-time advocate for community, an educator, most importantly, somebody who would always say, I have time for tea.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so today with Mahdi, we're going to explore notions of displacement. How does somebody hold a home in their heart no matter where they go? But most importantly, we're going to also talk about Mahdi's big news, which we are excited to learn more from him right away. But first, Mahdi, could you tell us who you are? And welcome to Unbounded Stories. Tell us what you do in the city. Let people know who you are a bit.
Thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much. Salam alaikum, and hello to everyone who is watching us. As you said, my name is Mahdi Sultani. My full name is Muhammad Mahdi Sultani, and right now in Winnipeg, I work with the Winnipeg School Division as an intercultural support worker. So my job is working with the newcomer families, mostly from my community, and help them navigate the education system in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
That's beautiful. And how long you
Thanks.
been doing this, Mahdi?
I started September 2024. Before that, I used to work with resettlement organizations in different positions.
That's beautiful, and that's how we crossed paths through the
Exactly.
education world.
Yes.
I know, Mahdi, that you've been working very hard in the last few years to bring your family here to Winnipeg. Tell us about that experience and how it has been.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you so much for asking that. Let me start by saying how I came to Canada
Yes.
4 years ago in a cold winter in December. I'm from Afghanistan, and I used to be a journalist and a university lecturer in Afghanistan. I was teaching journalism, but when the regime changed in Afghanistan, I had to leave Afghanistan for my own safety. At the same time, I had to leave my family behind. So those were two big decisions. Uh, can you believe that I was inside a bus for 3 days, eating dates and just drinking water because there was no washroom? So I had to stay alive for 3 days inside a bus to get into the airport in August 2021. You probably have seen videos of people, thousands of people trying to get into the airport to leave the country because of what was happening. So that's when I left Afghanistan, and I have a picture that I will send you, and you can put it when you edit the video of what I left with. I had a life back home. I was teaching at university. I was born in a family, in a big family, and in that family, I was always receiving love by my family members. I lived in a community that everyone knew me. I didn't have to introduce myself to them every single day that I saw them. So that's where I come from. That's my identity. I'm from Afghanistan, and I was loved by the people that I lived with, my family, friends, community, my students at university. And then I had to leave Afghanistan because of what happened, and I left with nothing. I left Afghanistan with a plastic bag that had a towel and some papers that allowed me to leave Afghanistan. That's how I left Afghanistan. And I came to Canada in December 2021. I had a long journey. I had to go to Qatar in a military camp for 2 days, from Qatar to Germany, another 4 days in a military camp, and from Germany to Poland. I was in Poland for a couple of months, and then I came here in Canada in Winnipeg. I landed here December 2021. And at that time, I did not know a single person in this city. So, someone that used to live in a big family, in a big circle, when I first came in here, the whole idea of identity, who I am, what am I doing here, was being questioned in my mind. Because when I was there, I did not even have to think about what identity is. I did not need that. But when you come to a new society, you think about, I don't have anyone. So you have a lot of different feelings, a lot of different notions that you probably never needed to have them before in your life, in your home, because those were the gifts that you already had there. But when you come here, your identity is challenged. You're a new person. You're someone that may not belong here. You're in a different society. I came here and I wasn't a Canadian. I recently got my citizenship, so I can say that I'm a
Sure.
Canadian and I'm proud of that as well. But at that time, I did not have that. So I was in a new society, not knowing anyone, being separated from the family, starting a whole new life from scratch. So these are all challenges that you have to face with. I had to build connections. I had to look for a job. I had to take care of my family back home in Afghanistan. And I was always constantly afraid of their safety because of the work that I was doing as a journalist. So those fears, those feelings, at the same time, working here to establish a whole new life, make connections, find a job, work two, three jobs at the same time. Those were the things that I was facing when I first came here. At the same time, I was trying to get my family here. That was another big challenge within the system. You probably know how things work with the immigration Canada and how things can take long time. It was also a hard journey for my family to leave Afghanistan and go to a third country as refugees, and then I could possibly sponsor them and bring them to Canada. During this whole process of building my own life here, at the same time supporting my family and also working to get them here, those are three big things for one person. Sometimes I felt overwhelmed, and sometimes it was very challenging, very stressful, very hard, a lot of obstacles within the system, a lot of challenges that they were facing back home. But one thing that made this whole reunification possible was hope and resilience. And that's something that I learned from my parents. My dad had cancer, so we lost him for cancer. But he had cancer and he was still working. He never said that I don't want to work anymore because I'm gonna go anyway. He was still working while he had cancer. Or my mom, she didn't have access to education. She didn't have the chance to go to school in Afghanistan. But I remember that she sold the only earring that she had to give me money so I could go and learn English. So anything that I have is because of the parents, and that's my identity. That's who I became because I had them. Sometimes it's unconsciously. I don't know where I get these things from, this strength, the resilience, but I know that I have it from my mom. I know that I have it from my dad. It's in the back of my head that is keeping me strong. So this whole process, I just want to little bit touch, but I think we went in details. But
That's beautiful.
yeah.
Thank you, Mahdi. And I think listening to you and to the very intimate details of your story took me to my story of how we left Palestine and came here as refugees as well. You know, the idea of unbounded stories is where our stories meet and get to know each other.
Yes.
And I know that process of arriving in Winnipeg at the airport, and you look out of the glass and you're like, what am I doing here?
Exactly.
You're often, because back home you think of people waiting for you on the other side of the glass door.
Yes.
And they're waiting to welcome you and to say you are welcome here. But in Winnipeg, no one was there.
Yeah.
We were like, okay, so how do we get to this location or address that we were giving? And so I understand that, and I appreciate the remarks on resiliency and hope, because we too held on to those two things very tight to be able to build a life in Canada. How long did it take, or how long did you not see your family for while you were in Winnipeg?
So I left Afghanistan in 2021, August 2021, and I haven't seen them for 4 years. My siblings arrived in Winnipeg, Canada in October this past year, 2025, just a few months here. And my mom got here just last Tuesday.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Wow.
She's very, very new here.
Just a week almost.
Yeah,
Less
exactly.
than a week.
Less than a week. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Today was her first day out. She didn't want to leave house because it's very cold. I was like, we should go and try it. So we just went out. We bought some stuff that she needed. It took us 4 years. It took them 4 years, and this whole separation was for 4 years.
First of all, congratulations that
thank you so
are
much.
reunited with your mother, and I saw the pictures, and of course I couldn't help but start to tear, and I am so happy that you are with your family.
So much,
so thinking about all this then, Mahdi, and thinking about the notion of identity, how has your sense of identity then through those experiences of leaving your country, of being displaced, of being a refugee in multiple places, and now reuniting with your family. How did those experiences shape who Mahdi is today?
I'm very grateful for what happened to me. Sometimes it's very hard to have that realization when you're going through those things. But then at the end, when you succeed at something that you struggled for years, then you're a different person. I'm sure that I'm not the same person that came to Winnipeg 4 years ago in a cold winter. I know that I have gone through all these problems, and it built a different Mahdi. I'm not the same person that I was. And how I can see that is that I'm gonna give you an example of how
Yes.
I changed in the last few years. So at one of my workplaces, we have a colleague when something happens, they just panic and it's obvious. And they're like, and I'm usually very calm trying to find different solutions. One day something serious happened and she was just going around and she just looked back at me. She's like, why are you so calm? She just asked that question. She's like, why are you so calm? And I told her that I have seen worse stuff in my life.
Yes.
I don't see this as a big challenge. This happened. These like two, three, four solutions for this one. I was in places in my life that there was no solution for it, and I could overcome those situations. So for me, this whole process of leaving my country, starting a whole new life here, give me a more confident, more give me more confidence about myself, and give me a different identity of who I am right now. I know that I'm a stronger person right now. I know that if you leave me in a different country with nothing, even if I don't speak the language, with nothing, I know that I'll figure out my life there. I know that I'll build a new life in that country.
Yeah, this notion of resiliency that we learn and we build and we grow. And so, Mahdi, to bring us back to the first thing you talked about, which is working with kids, working in education settings,
Yes.
with this beautiful experience of having lived in multiple places, how do you bring those stories to your students? What do you share with your students? How do you interact in the education system?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that I did in the last few years that I've been in Canada, we were running a summer program for Afghan newcomer kids at Aurora called Center, which is Resilient now. So when we were running this program for these kids, I was telling these kids that you're coming here in a very younger age, and sometimes I wish I was in your place. You have like a lot of opportunities in front of you. So I was trying to tell them that they could use this opportunity, all these opportunities that exist in this new country. And I could also see that if I could come at a younger age in a country that gives me more opportunities, I'd probably build even a better life for myself. So, and sometimes I share my stories of what I went through, both as a lesson with the kids, at the same time both as a way that connects with them. Because if you can connect with a child in a way that they know that you have lived the life that they're living now, or you have the experiences that they're having right now as a child, then that's one way to connect with them. And once you connect with them, you tell them that they have to be very grateful for what they have. I remember one time I went to Gray Academy, which is a private school in Winnipeg, and I shared my story of being a journalist in Afghanistan, my story of being a refugee. And I told them that when you open your fridge, you probably have a lot of options. You have a lot of things to choose from. You choose what you want to eat. But when I was a child, the very typical breakfast was a piece of bread that sometimes we may not had it, and tea with sugar. And sometimes we did not have sugar to put in the tea, so we just had to drink the tea. So that's how I wanna, when I work with the kids, I give them the idea. I kind of mention to them what they have and what they can be grateful that a lot of other people don't have access to those.
And I appreciate the notion of asking people to share their stories in a
Yes.
safe way and to invite people to reflect on their experiences and for you to share your stories with them. The last question we have, Mahdi, is those experiences of displacement. How do we share those experiences with other folks who have gone through those experiences in Winnipeg? Because you know, and I know, we
Yes.
meet lots of people here in Winnipeg in the diaspora who have gone through similar experiences than
Yeah.
ours. How do we use those experiences of resiliency to
Mm-hmm.
bring us closer?
Mm-hmm.
So this way we can heal together. How
Yes.
do you do that with your
Mm-hmm.
story? Do you use those stories to bring people around you together?
Yeah, absolutely. So my understanding and what I have seen is that a lot of us go through these experiences in our own individual ways. A lot of times we don't get a space to talk to people about it. The people that are going through the same experiences as newcomers, building a whole new life in a different country, and a lot of times they might have solutions that we need. So when I talk to people, as an example, I know a lot of people that are separated from their families when they came to Canada from Afghanistan. So when I talk to them, I tell them that this is the way to bring your family to get reunited with your family. How can you get your
Mm.
family here? How can you get them to safety? That's one way. At the same time, one thing that I noticed about sharing my stories is it in that sometimes people ask your story and your story is like a movie for them.
Mm.
I'm not talking about the newcomer
Yeah.
communities, but for some other people, they have seen those things on TV. They just saw it as news. So your whole life is a movie for them. It's just interesting for them to hear about it. They're not very curious. They may not have all the empathy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just fun for them. I'll use the word fun.
Yeah.
It's fun for them. They're like, oh, you went through this. Oh, this happened. Sometimes some people, I'm not saying everyone, but some people, it's hard for them to have they already know what you went through, but it's because it's feeding their mind as a fun thing. They want you to tell the same story to them again and again. And sometimes I think we have to be very cautious with that, who we share our stories with. Is this person genuinely interested in
Mm.
knowing what happened to me, or is it just a fun thing for them to hear about?
Mahdi, I appreciate that notion so much because I find myself, because I do this all the time,
Mm-hmm.
coming from Palestine, I find myself sometimes in that shoes where people hearing these stories of struggle,
Mm-hmm.
going back to Palestine every
Mm-hmm.
year, going through the checkpoints, living under
Mm-hmm.
occupation, it becomes a way for some folks, not
Mm-hmm.
all,
Yeah,
some,
exactly.
to
Yeah.
go, wow, and you survived this, and
Mm-hmm.
you've done this, and you went through that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it just like you said, the closest thing they've seen is things like that on TV,
Yeah.
and so they don't really fully understand the picture, and so it becomes this. You become this character of a hero
Yeah.
that has gone to those dangerous
Mm-hmm.
places, came back,
Back. Yes.
and now you're gonna do it again in a year or so.
Mm-hmm.
And I remind them that's so quote unquote dangerous place, or the place of danger is
Yes.
my home.
Yeah.
I'm not going there because I want to go through the obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going there to meet my family, to
Exactly.
be on my land.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate this notion of inviting people in your story when they're
Yes.
ready,
Yeah.
and also telling them and reminding them that we are talking about real people,
Yes.
real experiences,
Mm-hmm.
real places with
Mm-hmm.
names.
Yeah.
It's not just conflict zones,
Yes.
you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And again, that's just for some people. Some people are just asking that because they want to know, they have the empathy for that and they want to support.
Mhm.
But for some other people, yeah.
So, Mahdi, then how to bring this to a
Mm-hmm.
close? Two things. The first thing, how do we help people be ready for stories like that if they
Mm-hmm.
have not experienced
Mm-hmm.
or don't have an understanding of what we've gone
Mm-hmm.
through? How do you invite people into your story?
Mm-hmm.
How do you share it with people who may not have an idea
Mm-hmm.
of what people who have been displaced have gone through?
Mm-hmm. I think it's hard, to be honest, to do that because it's hard to know who is genuinely curious about your story. But at the same time, what you can do is you can build that awareness for them.
Mm.
You can tell them that it's not a story from a book, it's not a story from a movie. This is my life story. And sometimes it's painful for me to talk about it.
Mhm.
You can be very honest about that feeling with people. The people that you want to bring together and tell them your story, that is not a story that someone wrote. It is something that I walked on. It's something that I felt with my whole existence.
I appreciate that. This morning, no, yesterday morning, I was writing yesterday evening, sorry, I was writing a story and I was writing about my
Mm-hmm.
mom's kitchen back
Yeah.
home. And when I finished the story, and my mom started, she was over my shoulder and she was reading what I was writing. And she goes to the page, she takes the page and holds it like this. And I said to my mom, "What are you trying to do?" She's like, "I want to hold my kitchen."
Yeah.
You know, for her, the page was the closest thing to her home, and she just needed to hold it.
Yes.
So I appreciate the reminder that this is your story, and there are moments and times when it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Now, on a happy note, your mother's here, your
Yeah.
sister's here, your
So
brother's
pleased,
here,
so happy,
so
yeah.
happy for you, and I hope we meet them
Thank you.
soon.
Yeah.
What's next for them? What are they trying to do? What are the what their dreams? How they feel about Winnipeg so far?
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes I feel jealous about my siblings and my mom because when I came here, I didn't have a family who could understand me and fully support
Yes.
me, but they have me, so I'm
So,
trying to help them as much as I
sure.
can. I don't want them to suffer from some of the experiences that I had. So they're getting ready to go to school. They're gonna start going to school very soon. Well, my brother already started working. For my mom, I want her to rest and relax and enjoy the rest of her life.
That's beautiful, Mahdi, and we thank you.
And she deserves that.
100% she
Yeah.
does. And in Arabic we say amti, which is aunt.
Yes.
And I hope to meet amti very soon. And thank you for your stories,
Yeah.
Mahdi. Thank you for reminding us of the notion of out of displacement comes resiliency.
Yes.
Out of displacement comes beautiful stories. And thank you so much for your story and your time with us.
Yeah.
Folks, thank you. Be with us next episode on Unbounded Stories. This is Azzuddin, founder of Sadaa Echoes. Follow us at Sadaa.echoes. What is your story?